Hello and welcome to the Blessings in the Streets podcast. I am your host, Joseph B. Roberts, and in studio with me this evening is a phenomenal brother that I had recently the opportunity to get connected with. You are in for a treat this evening. This brother's a gospel winning award artist. He's a minister, he's a producer. But his most important attribute is this is a man of God who's taken out time out of his very busy schedule to hang out with us this evening to share a little bit of his story, a little bit of his journey with the hopes of inspiring, encouraging, and uplifting others, especially when it comes to dealing with the challenges and storms of life that we all deal with in some fashion or form. So it is my privilege and honor, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce to you this phenomenal brother this evening, Mr. Tramaine Long. Tramaine, thank you so much for being on the show.
Man, thank you for having me, man. I'm blessed to be here today.
Absolutely, absolutely. So before we jump into our segments this evening, I do want to give you an opportunity to share a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, what you do, kind of give our audience a snippet of who is Tramaine Long.
Yeah, okay, cool. So I am Tramaine Long. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Born in Virginia, but I am. You said it, man. I am a father, a husband. I am a producer, minister, a singer, songwriter. I'm an artist. I wear a lot of hats, man, and I'm just a child of God, man. So at the end of the day, that's the most important title. So yeah.
Yes, yes. Gotta love it. Gotta love it, man. And like you said, you're doing a multitude of different things. I mean, I've read your bio, I've checked out some of your music. This brother's doing a lot of phenomenal work. And this is what it's all about for our listeners to understand that when you're doing God's work, when you're walking in your purpose, you keep busy, but it's busy in a good way. It's busy in the right way. And I just appreciate having, especially having an opportunity to have a brother like you on the show and just doing so many positive things in the name of God and walking in alignment with that. So I know that, I'm going to be blessed this evening. I know my listeners are going to be blessed. So I'm going to get out of the way for a minute here and we're just going to jump right on into these segments and find out a little bit more about you and your story. So, with that said, every time when I bring guests on the show, one of the things that I always like to do is take a few moments to reflect, if you will, on the beginnings. And what I mean by that is, you know, when you're going through life and you're experiencing different things, whether it's the people that you encounter, the events that you go through, you don't necessarily think about what it means in the moment, but you live long enough and you start to understand, the why you do what you do and where you are in your respective place in life. You can't help but to kind of reflect back on those moments and say, you know what, that's why I had to go through what I went through. That was
Mhm.
the reason that this particular instance took place in my life. And so with that said, even going back as far as childhood, I think it all kind of connects the dots, so to speak. It's not something that just happens by accident. It's not just something that happens by chance, but it's a divine design specifically equipped for each one of us. And so with that said, if you would take us back to the early days, take us back to the beginning and share with us what was it like for you growing up, fond memories that you have about growing up, as well as there's any particular challenges that come to mind. You can share that as well, kind of give us a backdrop for where your story begins.
Okay. So for me, starting off young, I am one of when it comes to my mother's side of the family, I'm one of three. I'm the middle child. But I'm the oldest on my father's side. So growing up, my father passed away young. He passed away when I was young. And so it was just my mother taking care of me and my sisters. And that was it was a challenging time. That was like a real challenging time for me growing up. Dealing with child abuse, things like that. Dealing with the fact that my father wasn't there, so not having that fatherly figure to be around me, stay on me. Hey, did you do your homework? Did you do this? You do that? You take out the trash? Did you, certain things that I make sure that I pour into my boys now, I didn't get. And so, it was tough growing up as a kid. But because we stayed in the shelter, my mother trying to take care of me and my sisters. But one thing I can say that I never stayed on the street. So we
Hmm.
always had a roof over our head, and I can't tell you a time where I didn't eat. So, but one of my fondest memories as a child is the fact that my mother, while we lived in that shelter, my mother got me and my two sisters, and she led all three of us to Christ.
Mm.
And I was 11 at the time. And yeah, and so, and right now, me and both of my sisters, we are all on fire for the Lord. So even though my mother couldn't financially give us everything that we wanted growing up, but she gave us something that would last us, period. Like it would last us for eternity. Is that relationship with God. And so after that part, you know, of course, you kind of veer out, even though you give your life to Christ. You growing up, we wasn't in church like that, So we in the hood, I'm from Atlanta, so living on Simpson Road and living in the Bluff and living on Washington Road. If you're from Atlanta, you know what I'm talking about, right? But growing up in the hood, you grow up listening to all types of music and different things like that, and so some of my fondest memories were listening to music and rapping with my friends and singing with my friends. A lot of those things is kind of like what shaped me now,
Mhm.
with what I do today. And But yeah, man, those were some of my struggles and some of my some fond memories I have of my childhood.
Awesome, awesome. Well, let me first start off by saying, I appreciate your transparency and sharing as
Mhm.
you have, in the early goings here. Anybody, as you stated, that has had to grow up in a single parent household, headed up by your mom and, the absence of dad in your life, whether in this case your father passing away. For some of us, it's a situation where dad is alive and well, but just not actively involved. It does
Mhm.
have an impact on us, and
Yeah.
just as I do, being black men, there's already this stereotype. There's already this projected ending, if you will, about how our story is going to go. From the moment we come up out of the womb, and so when you throw in these other factors, inner city life and things of that nature, poverty, etc., there's already this write off of us, if you will, that we're going to either be dead, we're going to be in jail, we're going to be, having multitude of kids that we're not taking care of, things like that. So it's always good to hear stories from somebody like yourself who, despite the struggles and the challenges that you go through, or that you had to endure, I should say, you still had, a family that was filled with love. You had a mom who, looked out for you and your sisters. And yeah, like I said, things were tight. You spoke about being in the shelter and things like that. I mean, but one of the things that the generation today doesn't understand, that yourself and myself, have different experiences about, is that we a lot of times we might have recognized that we didn't have a lot, but we didn't necessarily go without. As you
Mhm.
stated, I
Mhm.
always had a roof over my head. I don't remember not, missing a meal. I don't remember not having clothes to, put on my back. It was a little bit, but it meant more because of the love that was behind it, what went with it. And then with your story, that makes it so, so impactful at the very beginning here, is that now we have the insertion of God being introduced to you. So
Mhm.
that gives you a whole nother layer of protection, a whole nother layer of covering, if you will, to be able to
Mhm.
endure some of those darker days, some of those more trying moments in time where you may not have known what is tomorrow going to bring for us.
Yeah.
What direction is going to lead us on, and that kind of and it always kind of works out like this. It ties into, even if you, I don't know if you paid attention to our to the story title that I chose for our podcast episode this evening. I kind of actually got a little bit of that inspiration from you. When the world feels heavy.
Mhm.
Sometimes when people don't understand, when the world feels heavy and you don't have a whole bunch of resources or people to tap into to come alongside and help you, it makes all the difference in the world when you know
Mhm.
that you have Christ to lean
Yeah.
on, because there's no heaviness that you can experience in this world that He can't overcome for you. So I appreciate you bringing that into the scene, and making that to be known, as well as just even you talking about that even after accepting Christ into your life, that yeah, there's still going to be some challenges along the way where you might sway a little bit here and there and get caught up in the things of the world, and that's just the enemy coming at you, trying to distract you, because he doesn't want to see you,
Mhm.
overcome those challenges. He would rather see you, struggle and you know, and basically give up, if you will. But you know, clearly your body of work, you know, things that you're doing, and the fact that you're even here sharing, lets us know that not only is God real, but
Mhm.
that he's able to take, you know, even the most bleakest of circumstances and challenges, and make something out of that. And that's why I say these reflection moments are so important, because what you had to go through was not by accident. Your music in many ways is inspired by some of those same challenges, some of those same heaviness that you dealt with, you
Mhm.
know. So again, it all connects together, and that's why I say I appreciate you sharing that you have, because I hope our listeners are embracing this and understanding that all of these things matter, and there is a connection to it all. It's not, there's nothing random about it, and there's definitely nothing random about God himself. So again, appreciate you sharing that.
No problem, man. I do just want to add this one other thing though, because um that those times made my mama somehow way she made sure that she kept us close as a family, and that what made me want to be a family man.
Mm,
And to just I love family. I love spending time with family. She created that environment, and it's so funny for us to go through all those things. Shout out to Mom Dukes, man. She a prophetess, by the way, too. So that's the
okay.
crazy thing. So to kind of like to see where we came from, to see what
Mm-hmm.
she's doing now, it's just like, because we didn't have a church home going through none of this stuff. Like, we were just out. We were just
Mm,
doing our best. And she was doing her best. She was young. She had me when she was 18. Like, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
you think about that, like man, like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now, man, when I sit here and think about this, man, I think about how we were so close as a family. And sometimes, man, you need family. And it's so funny. I talk to certain people and they be like, "Well, man, my family, y'all family is so close, but y'all don't know what we had to go through and what we had
Mm-hmm.
to endure when it was just us." You got to think. I'm originally from Virginia. My mom moved me and my sisters away from Virginia to Atlanta. We didn't have no family. The people that I call my family are the people are like my best friends, stuff people I grew up with as kids. You know what I'm saying? So those
Yeah.
my cousins. So yeah. So when you don't have that, and that's all you have is your mom and your sisters,
Hmm.
it just it's just a different type of love there, man. It's a different type of bond. And so to have
Right.
God in the mix of it, like he was in the center.
Hmm.
So that was the blessing.
And that's and I'm glad you know highlighting that, because it kind of reminds us as why that it's so important, not so much of what you have, but who you
Mhm.
have, you
Yeah.
know, especially during those challenging times. And again, unfortunately, in these days and times, it's kind of the reverse for a lot of families. It's
Mhm.
everybody is about the materialism and what and don't get me wrong, when you're struggling, you won't, it's not that you don't want any of those things either. It's just that you have a greater appreciation for them when you understand what it took
Mhm.
for you to get to that point, and the closeness and the bond. Because who better do you want to have in your life is that people who are willing to love on you and be around you when you're at your lowest,
Yeah.
not necessarily when I'm at my peak. And I'm sure, and I might be getting ahead of myself, but I'm sure even in your career music wise, there are some people who, you know, should have been supporting and behind what you're trying to do, and they were,
Mhm.
whether they were doubters, whether they were haters, or whatever you want to call them. And then as soon as you get to a certain level, oh, I always knew you was gonna make it, brother. I'm here for you, anything you need, all that kind of stuff. And it's like, well, appreciate it, but you know, you understanding, you know, the value and the importance of having people who truly got your back, the family, whether they're
Mhm.
blood related or whether they're just people who love on you like that, you know. And then, like you
Mhm.
said, to ultimately have the father of all fathers being in the mix of it all, that just adds a whole nother element to it. So this is good stuff,
Yeah,
man, and
yeah,
it's so important to talk about.
yeah, you just brought up something. I know you got
No,
the
good. Go
floor.
ahead. We
Yeah,
flowing.
but you make me think about, like, um not having support, right?
Hmm.
Doing music and things like that. Cause I really didn't have that until recently, till
Hmm.
like a couple of years ago. Like, you know what I mean? Things start happening because it's different. I was listening to this comedian and it's so funny. It resonated with me so much because most of the time when you do music or you do sports
Mm-hmm.
basketball, football, things that people can see.
Mm-hmm.
That's like it's more like they can believe, oh, he's good in that. He can probably make it to the NFL or go to college and or make it pro or whatever. It's hard to see somebody doing the music aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to grow at this music stuff, and my family, my mom didn't always come to. Even when I played football, she came to one game. Like she came to one game because she couldn't see. I remember I played defensive tackle, and I'm tall, but I wasn't that big though. I was slim, and they put me in defensive tackle, and she didn't come no more after this. She was like, that first play I got on line, that big lineman fell on me. I couldn't even get up. And she was like, get out. I heard her understand, get off my bag. Like
Right.
and her friend was like, man, he all right, he a boy, let's be all right. So,
Mm-hmm.
but the point is, like, she didn't show up for those things. And some of
Mm-hmm.
those things I'm like, man, like so when I started doing music, I started having shows. Now, mind you, I was doing secular at the time.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't really show up for that. But once I started transitioning and I started really honing in my craft, because believe it or not, I really wasn't that good at the time when I first started. So I didn't have the person, my mother taking me to get vocal lessons or putting me in the piano lessons and stuff. I had to learn everything by ear, figure this stuff out from scratch. So to have that support now, it's like she my biggest fan. She's really my biggest fan right now. So that is like to see that growth. And sometimes people need to see you
Mm-hmm.
develop and grow and bloom in something to say, like, you know what? I see you. I see what you're
Mm-hmm.
doing. And that's okay. And that's okay. Like, would you want to take your time and invest in something that somebody say, I got this thing, but they not even putting the work in to grow?
Right.
Yeah, I'm not want to invest no money into you, and you not even trying to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And I see other people doing it at a high level. Like, what's going to make you stand out? So
Exactly.
yeah, man. Yeah, I just want to throw that in there.
No, no, that's good. That's good stuff. I mean, very, very valid points. I mean, because like you said, sometimes we take it, take for granted where that support should come from, thinking that I can, announce that I want to do something and might be in position to do it. But if the work is not in there, then are you expecting people to, like you said, to buy into that, to really
Mhm.
rally around you? But then there's the other side of it that we also talked about, where yeah, I am putting in the work. I am, giving it my all. What happens then when that's clear, but people still don't support, especially the ones like you said that we might call family, that we might call friends, and how does that impact us? That's an
Mhm.
example of moments in life where the world can feel heavy on you sometimes because I'm trying to do these big things. I'm trying to make moves in my life to, to be a better man, to be a better father, to be a better husband, to be a better provider, and it can be frustrating and lonely.
Yeah.
Sometimes where you're just like, what am I doing all of this for? If I'm not hearing the support, if I'm not feeling the love, and it's not about sales, it's not about dollars and cents. It's just like just people just loving on you, like the family that you grew up with the closeness and
Mhm.
being there for the good times, but also being there when it was hard,
Yeah.
being there when it was heavy. So it matters. But again, we always have to connect it right back to where is Christ in the middle of this,
Yeah.
what does that relationship look like, because it's in those moments, it's in those darkest of times that he's that difference maker for you.
Yeah.
He's the one that's there when you feel like throwing your hands up in the air and just giving up. He's the one even there to what you commented about your music career. Like, I wasn't really good at this. I didn't have the formal vocal training and all of this, and but when it's God ordained, when it's something that's supposed to be for you to do, none of that matters. He's going to provide it some way or another. You're going to get what you need to get, and it's going to be just as good, if not better, than those who had the means to go through the formal training and pay for all of those type of things, etc. So, again, this
Can
is good stuff, man.
yeah. So I don't want to get ahead of myself with this, but I want to, so I'm just thinking about something that you're saying,
Hmm.
that you kind of that you just brought out, and sometimes God will, it doesn't matter if you are called to do it,
Hmm.
God will open up the door for you. And what's amazing is obedience, just being obedient and allowing God to lead you, because yes, I put in. You talking about? I'm about to be 40 this year, and I've been taking this music serious since I was
Hmm.
17 years old. And like I said, I wasn't good when I started. I wasn't good. I remember I'd like to tell the story because when I first start making beats, and I was trying to make a beat like somebody somebody that was already out on the radio, and I
Hmm.
made this beat. And I said, "Mom, this sound like this, don't it?" And she kept it real with me. She said, "No, baby, it don't,
No,
it don't
don't
sound
quite
like
sound
that.
like that.
It don't sound like that." But I didn't get mad. She did it in such a subtle way. She didn't tear me
Hmm.
down. She just said no. That's all she had to say. You know how you like you paint a picture and then
Hmm.
you draw and you have to look back at your picture to make sure just from a different angle, just make sure that it looked
Hmm.
right. She
Right.
made me have to step back and look at what I was doing,
Hmm.
and like, okay, cool. So I realized, like, man, I had like my point of saying it is I didn't I wasn't always good, but I had to work at this thing.
Hmm.
So over the years of doing this now, it's crazy. God was like, Tramaine, time for you, because I was just producer for people. And he said, Tramaine, it's time for you to start putting your music out and time for you to be legendary. That's a whole nother topic. But the point is being obedient. So when God tell you to do something, he will open up the door. So when I tell you 2024, I put out the first song of Be Holy from the first legendary project. When I tell you God would just open up the doors. And then I ended up 2025, I ended up doing what is it? Bobby Jones.
Hmm.
I did Bobby Jones gospel and I sung there. But before I even like the night before, I'm like panicking. I'm like, Lord, like, because you see all these vocalists, choirs, and all these people doing this. I'm like I told you, I wasn't trained,
Right.
and I'm going off by ear and just trying to mimic what I heard other people do and try to put my own little spin on it, right? As a vocalist, but to know, I'm like, okay, God, but when I tell you, when God, it doesn't matter. God will open up the doors for you, and people will hear you. They'll hear you because of Him.
Hmm.
And when I tell you, I went in and those people love me in there. Like, and so my point is, I'm going with what you're saying. Is like, it doesn't matter if God opened up that door for you, and it's for you to go through, for you to walk through. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter what everybody else think. God made you unique. That doesn't mean don't
Hmm.
put in the work, but God seen me putting in over 10,000 hours and making beats and mixing songs and writing and a whole bunch of songs, and nobody never heard. So you see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah, I just want to say that, man.
No, I mean, and that's good that you're bringing that out. I mean, it's so again reinforcing that idea of that when what God has for you is for you. He's going to
Hmm.
open that door. It doesn't matter if you don't think you have enough talent, have enough treasures, have enough of whatever. If it's for you to walk through, it's for you to walk through. But one of the things that I've learned, and I'm sure you can attest to this as well, even in your music journey, is like we sometimes in walking in our purpose and operating in obedience, we sometimes get sidetracked in trying to mimic or be like other people and instead of
Hmm.
being who he created
You,
you to
yep.
be. And
Hmm.
so sometimes God will delay you walking through that door until you understand that what you have is enough, and what you have is, to your album, legendary. It's
Hmm.
special. It's unique. It's Tramaine. I want to introduce the world to Tramaine. I'm not trying to
Hmm.
introduce the world to another such and such
Hmm.
look alike or sound alike. Your sound, you, and be that and embrace it because it's yours. I
Yeah.
made it for you. It's
Yes.
cool that you are inspired by certain people or
Yeah.
appreciate their works. Nothing wrong with that. But I created you to be you by
Yes.
yourself.
Yes.
Honoring me in the works that I have assigned to you, using the gifts that I've imparted in you. And so again, for our listeners, it's quit trying to, and we hear this all the time, quit trying to get caught up in the social media. I mean, social media is a tool. It can even be entertaining at times, but quit trying to get caught up in everybody else's stories and reels and all of that, because we don't we was just talking about this at church. It's like, who puts on social media the bad days, the heavy moments? Who
Mhm.
puts that out there? You know, we always we take the time to make sure the hair is right and the look is
Yep.
right and everything is crisp and clean. I'm just showing you the clean, pretty side of it, but I'm not showing you the battle that I was struggling with 15 minutes before I clicked that phone on and put that
Oof.
photo on. You know, I'm
Yeah.
not telling that story. You know,
Mm.
this is what's important about platforms like this where we're getting, you know, peeling back the layers, not because
Yeah.
we're thirsting for attention, but we're just trying to keep it real that even as a believer you go through, even as a believer you face challenges and storms. So you're a human. This is a part of the process, but you don't have to do it by yourself. You don't have to go through it all by yourself, carrying that weight by yourself. But you do need to be who you are, who God created you to be, and
Yes, sir.
everything that you're speaking on, man, is aligning with that, and that's what is so much, you know, so good to appreciate about who you are. I mean, I'm just meeting you, and I'm just like, I'm admiring you. I'm appreciating you as a brother because I'm like, this is what authenticity looks like. This is what genuineness looks like. You're
Thank
not up here fronting acting like I'm perfect and I got it all figured out. None of us do. But you're
you. Yeah.
walking in your purpose, man, and who can't respect and that's what, if you want to mimic something, mimic what it means to walk in your purpose. Not
Amen.
necessarily trying to copycat somebody,
Yes,
but
sir.
yeah, walk, you know, copycat the walk. And the walk that you're displaying right now is walking like Christ, just doing it with what he gave you to work with. So that's cool, man.
Hey,
Cool stuff.
hey, man. Hey, look. I had this situation where I had one of my he used to be an A&R, but I used to go by just Tramaine.
Hmm.
I just go by just my first name because I'm like, man, I don't want to go by my full name and government and stuff like that. So Tramaine Long is my actual name,
Hmm.
but that happened for a reason why I started going by my whole name. Right? It's because God started showing me. You said something. God started showing me. I made you unique. So the dude, because he majored in marketing and stuff like that, and so he was like, Tramaine, Google Tramaine. He just Google Tramaine and see what pops up. And so I Google my name and I Google Tramaine and all these other Tramaine pops up. All is you got the first one all gonna be Tramaine Hawkins
Hmm.
because she's the most popular Tramaine ever. but then you all these other Tramaines I was battling it. So when it came down to the search engine, I'm nowhere to be found until you got to keep searching for me. Then he said, Tramaine, put in Tramaine Long. So I put in Tramaine Long. I'm the only one to pop up, right? And so I was running from my name.
Hmm.
I was running from my name because I'm trying to be cool like everybody else and feeling like, but I realized, dang, for real, that moment he was showing, the guy used this man to show me something because I was
Hmm.
very prideful. I wanted to do things my way, not realizing like God put people in your path to help steer you. And so
Hmm.
I'm saying, I'm going along with what you're saying about the whole thing of you know, be authentically you.
Hmm.
Be authentically you. You know, and so man, I'm sorry. I had this. This probably gonna help somebody. Oh,
Go
okay, so
ahead.
I know we gotta go, but
No, no, you good.
yes, okay. So we had this was I was doing secular music at the time, and I went to this industry seminar. They had DJ Drama, they had Tasha Love, all these different industry personnel at the time. They had Boyce Men Manager there. So I don't know if y'all remember at the time and people listening, this had been around like 2007, 2008. And we had that, it was a song out on the radio called Party Like a Rock Star. It was
Hmm.
blowing up. Party like a rock. So
Yeah.
everybody was trying to do a song like that. And I don't understand why people do that where they just can't create something on their own. But this group was in this seminar and they played the song for him. And then Boys and Men manager, I can't think of his name right now, but he was like, he said, you stole their whole, y'all just stole their song. There's nothing different or unique about that. And so and he gave me a perspective that shifted my way of how I view myself as an artist. And so he used Beyonce. He said Beyonce She don't steal nobody's stuff, but you can see her influences.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see Beyonce, you see the Tina Turners, you see the Diana Rosses, and you see those people that inspired her. But she still looks like Beyonce. She still is Beyonce,
Right.
and that helped shape me. Like, we are created in God's image and after His likeness. Our character is supposed to line up with Him, supposed to align with Him. But
Mm-hmm.
who we are, He made us all unique.
Right.
So I can still be Tramaine, but you can tell that I'm a child of God because by the fruit that I bear.
There you go.
Through the love, through the joy, through the peace, through the
Mm-hmm.
kindness, the gentleness, the self-control. You can see, oh, that's a child of God, but at the same time, he's still Tramaine. He's still goofy, he's still silly, and so I realized, like, okay, but that came with time. I had to understand that. But another point I want to throw out, you threw out there, because you said a lot of stuff, like, I said that was good. And so one of the things that I want to say is to people that's out there that want to, you don't have to steal or just copy somebody else all the time. Like, you can take for somebody and and be creative. But one thing I always pray to God all the time, y'all can take this. I ask God for unlimited creativity. So I see creativity in everything. It don't have to just be music.
Mm.
I could be on my job and God give me creativity to fix a problem. Like, it can ask God for unlimited creativity. We are created in His image and after
Mm-hmm.
His likeness. Everything He gave us Him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can create. I'm not limited. People tripping on AI and all this stuff. Okay, how can I be creative using AI? Okay, it's a tool.
Mm-hmm.
How can I use this to enhance what I'm already doing, to make what I'm already doing more efficient? Get creative.
Yeah.
So I just
Yeah.
want to throw that out there.
No,
We
and
get
I'm
a little
glad,
nugget.
and I know we've kind of feeding off each other. I mean, this is good because as you were speaking to that about the unlimited creativity, um, that is the essence of what it means to be in relationship with God, particularly when you're going through those
Mm-hmm,
challenging times. Go back to your title. When that world is feeling heavy,
mm-hmm,
the world, the world as we know it, there's a limitation on the creativity that can happen from a worldly perspective.
mm-hmm.
There is no limitation on what can happen from a godly perspective. So again, that's where that difference maker comes in, when whether you're going through a challenging time or whether you're facing a challenge that is bigger than you know, to your point, I don't have to steal nothing from nobody. I don't have to copy nothing from nobody. I don't have to dog somebody out to be above them or to rise
Yeah.
above them. All I got to do is align with the one who has unlimited creativity, has
Mm-hmm,
unlimited answers to
mm-hmm.
whatever it is that I find myself up against, challenges that I'm up against, obstacles that I have to overcome. So embracing that mindset of give me unlimited creativity. I'm not asking you to give me all the money in the world, all the influence in the world, all of these things. If I got unlimited creativity, then all of those other things are default results of what I can walk away with as a result
Mm-hmm.
of the creativity.
Yes,
It's kind of like Solomon,
the wisdom.
wanting the wisdom. How many
Mm-hmm.
of us in today's time would have thought of all the things that you could ask for? Let me ask for that. If I had unlimited wisdom, if I knew it all, man, what could I flip with that? How creative could
Mm-hmm.
I be with that? So the
Boy.
concept is the same. I can
Mm-hmm.
do a lot with what I'm using up here. Let me tap into my brain power. How many studies have
Mm-hmm.
been out there where they said that they tell us the average human only uses less than what 10% of their
They
brain in a
bring.
lifetime?
Mm-hmm.
Let me be a thinker. Let me be a thinker, because when I'm a thinker, then I can be a game changer, whether it's through music, whether it's through speaking, whether it's through podcasts, whether it's whatever it is that God allows me, whatever that platform, it allows me the opportunity to be relatable to a multitude of people. I'm not pigeonholed into you can only connect with this crowd. You can only connect with these folks. I can only sing to black people. I can only minister to this group of people. I
Mm-hmm.
can do my there is no bounds to my ministry,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that ministry work is. So these are the things that, again, for not only for us to reinforce to ourselves, but for those who are listening. These are the things that you want to keep in mind about, yeah, what am I doing to create that unlimitless,
mm,
or am I constraining myself? Am I putting myself in a cage that, that nobody forced me into but me? Am I,
mm,
how am I restricting myself, or am I allowing myself to experience that creativity, spectrum that's out there, and doing it again with integrity, with the proper character, being in alignment. But I can do that and still have all of the things, the desires of my heart, the things that I
mm,
want, the impact the change that I want to make in the world. All of those things can come my way if I do it in alignment, and if I'm operating in obedience, as you've emphasized earlier, the importance of doing that. So, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that we need to embrace. We need to hear. We need to remind ourselves of, because you don't have to be restricted. You don't have to be confined. It doesn't matter what you're up against. Um, Anything is possible, and that's just not some cliche type of statement, but it's all about the way you go about it, and
mm.
what value do you give yourself?
Yes.
Do you know what your worth is? Do you
Mm,
understand what you bring to the table? That's a difference maker, right in there. If I don't think much of me, then who cares what other people think? If I don't think
boy,
much of me,
yeah, you
you
gotta
know
think about you.
you got to think about, and it's something my stepdad used to refer to as a healthy selfishness. There's a healthy
Mhm.
selfishness that
Yes.
comes with that, and that healthy selfishness is about loving you enough to be able to say sometimes, to be able to even to just say no sometimes. It's trying to not be there for everything and everybody. Why do that if you can't even be that for yourself? You gotta you gotta know who you are. You gotta know what you bring, and then once you understand what that is, which is
Mhm,
where that purpose moment comes, when you understand what you got. Now you got to put in the work. Now you got
mhm,
to be willing to do it, and you got to be able to take whatever comes along the way. You got to be understanding. Everybody's not going to be cheering you on. It. It's not going to always be easy. That there's going to be some challenges and some struggles along the way. But if it's for you to have, if it's a door that you're supposed to walk through, no man, no thing, no situation is going to be able to stop that, because God set that up just for you to do. So, yeah, man, this is good talk,
it's
man.
good.
This is
It's
good
good
talk.
talk. Love it.
Yeah, man. So, Tramaine, as you know, we have our experiences early on in life, and we enter into adulthood, and none of that changes. In fact, those experiences span, in great in a great way. Some of it good, some of it challenging, but it's one of the things I always say: if you live long enough, and my mom used to say the same thing, but if you live long enough, you're going to come across a time in life where a storm will arrive before you that it hits a little different, that this is
Mhm,
more than just me being able to navigate through a little challenge here, a little, bump in the road there. This is something that I might find myself in, that I'm feeling stuck. I'm feeling helpless. I'm feeling like there's no way out. There's no way of overcoming this. Um, how did I get here? How am I going to get out? And so, with that said, tell us about a time that's exactly how you felt, that you were facing what appeared to be an insurmountable situation, circumstance. You didn't see a way out. Your money couldn't fix it. Your influence couldn't fix it. Your connects couldn't fix it. It was just you staring at this storm. What was that situation like for you? And what was ultimately the turning point where you began to see some light at the end of the tunnel and coming up out of that?
Um, that's a good question, man. I think for me, I have one of the main things that I feel like it was a struggle, a real struggle for me, and it goes back to that whole thing of not having that father figure in the
Mm-hmm.
household. But it is the situation is school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the fear of failing, the fear of failing. So um, I dropped out of school in 2004. I dropped out of high school in 2004, and that was the start of it. That was the start of this fear thing I had. Because I felt like, I couldn't, if it's just weird because I felt like I couldn't, like I wasn't smart enough to for school or something, or school just wasn't clicking for me. when it
Mhm.
came to learning. So when my father passed away, that was my way of like lashing out.
Mhm.
So I went to like like this my testimony. So it is, so people can look at it all crazy, but it is what it is. This is my past. But when my father passed away, I was 14 when he passed away. Now, but before that, he still wasn't in my life. But he passed away when I was 14, and so when he passed away, I started lashing out. And what I ended up doing is I ended up not doing nothing in school.
Mhm.
That was my way of lashing out. I went to school and didn't know. I just went to sleep. In every class, the only class I passed was PE, you know. And so when I failed every class, and then my counselor was like, "You won't graduate until you like 20," because I had to make up all those classes that I failed.
Mhm.
So the next school year, I had nothing but A's and B's, but that right there messed me up. So my mother's like, "Well, son, you just gonna drop out. You're gonna drop out. Ain't no point in you doing this. Go get your GED." Right. So I ended up going to Job Corps. I went to Job Corps. God, Job Corps was a blessing to me. But I went for my GED to get a trade. I got the trade, didn't get my GED. I failed my GED by 1 point at the time.
Mm.
And they was like, Tramaine, because I posted, took this test, passed it, and went home. I was there for a second. I was staying on campus. So I was homesick. I was ready to go home. I miss my family, my mom, my sisters and stuff. I'm ready to go home. And I said, no, I'm just gonna take the GD when I get home. They were like, just stay one more week. You can just take this test one more time and you'll pass it. No, no. And that was I was 18 when that happened. So just fast forward to like me turning 30 years old. Still didn't get that GED, right? And so I had this fear of just failing, man. I did not so I had people telling me, Tremaine, you need to get your GED, you need to get your GED for years, and I didn't do it. Because I felt that one time I just felt like I'm just gonna disappoint myself. So thank God for mentors. Thank God for people that love you, care about you. Now, mind you, I didn't have my father, but God, some odd reason, put men in my life
Mhm.
to help give me the things that my father supposed to have gave me. Different men. It wasn't just one person. It was a bunch of different men. God orchestrated the things so dope. You see who I am now? You're like, dang, you got all this in you. Thank God to all these different men that poured into my life, in church and in out of church. But my pastor at the time, he was like, Tremaine, you need to get your GED. You need to get your GED. He was on me. He was just like, you need to get it. He said, because you're afraid to leave this job because you don't have this GED. I was stuck. I
Mhm.
was stuck. I didn't want to do nothing. So I made a decision. I said, I'm going to get my GED. And I said, if I don't say something to you about me starting taking a class or something in the next 2 weeks, say something to me. He didn't have to. I got on it. So I got my GED at 30. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
Yes.
Right. So then the other fear came, college. College. This was something I had to work out. This fear of failing. I felt like I wasn't good enough because I didn't have nobody affirming me and telling me you smart. You can do this. You can do
Mhm.
that. I'm proud of you. I wasn't getting that growing up.
Yeah.
My mother was proud of me, but she worked a lot, so she couldn't give me that. She
Mhm.
worked 3 jobs. We barely seen her. So, so we was at the house we were watching ourselves, you know? And
Mhm.
so then once I moved back to Atlanta because I was living in Kansas when I got my GED. I moved back to Atlanta. Then my friend, he's an Apostle McKinley Hardy, and we were talking. He was just like, Tremaine, you need to go to college, man. And he put it in a way to help me understand. He said, Tremaine, you so talented. You smart, but you gotta get into an environment where you can sit down and learn. You gotta learn how to learn.
Mm.
because I didn't get it right. I got the GED, but when I went to school, so I had to tell him the same exact thing because I was fighting. I was fighting him. I don't know, man. I don't know about the school. So then one of my friends, she was like, Tramaine, like, what's your issue with school? Why are you so afraid of that? You need to deal with that. Like, and God was using these people to
Mm-hmm.
talk to me. All right. So sometimes we acting like that ain't God. No, God will use people. The Bible say out of the mouth of two or three witnesses, let every word be established. God will send multiple people to tell you the same thing when you're not
Right.
listening. God understood where I needed to be, right? And where he's taking me. So I was like, okay, all right. And I told her and I told him, I said, you know what? I'm apply and I went to school and I didn't know where to start. Now I'm 30 something years old. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? The good thing about it is that like when you younger trying to go to college, you don't know what you want to do with yourself a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but I knew that I wanted to do something with entertainment. So I had a friend who was like, he went to Full Sail University and he went to Full Sail and then he ended up becoming an instructor there. So I called him. I said, hey, look, man, I want to go to school. I just don't know what I need to go to school for. He was like, well, Tramaine, you don't need to go to school for music production or stuff like that. What I would suggest is you go to school for entertainment business because you already have your production company.
Mm-hmm.
You already got an LLC. Well, go to school for that. And when I tell you, I went to school. Everything that the apostle said, sit down and learn. I took that. School teach you how to research, how to study.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I love learning. It's crazy. I didn't like it then, but I love learning now. I love information. I love making myself better. And so I know I went down this long journey of to get to this point
No.
of me saying this, but I wanted to paint this picture so y'all can understand like it was a struggle for me. For somebody else, it probably been easy, but for me, it was a struggle. But I didn't have to fear. The Bible said, I didn't give you the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind, which is self control. I gave you me. So you don't have to fear. You are more than a conqueror. Go conquer school.
Mm-hmm.
No, you ain't doing nothing until you go conquer that fear of failing. You know, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's my answer to that question.
No, man. This is well. First, again, appreciate your transparency. I mean, I think it's phenomenal to think about somebody like you said to drop out of school, go more than a decade, like you said, you're 30 years old before you decide, let me get this GED, and then to then have the gumption to, build up the nerve, build up the courage to pursue a college education. Because again, many people who would have been in that same standing, same age bracket would have been like, it's too late for me.
Mhm,
That season has passed for me. But you had to what you had to understand, because I'm hearing two things from here. I'm hearing the part of you that was fearing the failure, and I think
mhm,
that's a very common thing that a lot of people deal with, especially when they're facing something that's a little bit more challenging or outside of their comfort zone. There's that fear of failure. But I think what a lot of times what goes along with that fear of failure that many people don't talk about is sometimes it's almost the fear of, what if I actually make it? What if I actually am successful at this? Then what will be expected of me? Because if I'm putting these limitations on myself that, I don't want to do that because I don't want to mess up, I don't want to fail, I don't want to let anybody down, including myself. I don't want to be a disappointment. Sometimes the equalizer of fear on the other end is, what if I actually am successful at this?
mhm,
What if now, the weight that will be, the pressure that will be placed upon me now, because I'm expected to do big things now, because I got this pedigree behind me. I got this stamp behind me that says, officializes that I'm smart, that I got talent, that I got skills. And so I think we kind of internally struggle with that. And then you throw in the dynamic at to what you said, which is very important, the value of having a father figure in your life
mhm,
as a son. um, there are wonderful moms, across the world, and I even talked about this in my book. Um, there's wonderful moms around the world. Your mom, my mom, many single mothers who have raised sons to be fine young men to do great things. But the reality is that with all of the love, all the effort, all of the support that they can give, they cannot recreate themselves to be a dad. There's a limit. There's a cutoff that the mom, no matter how much she tries, she just can't give that to you. And this is
Mm-hmm.
where the value of having male figures who come into your life, who show that love, who show you that encouragement, who show you that support, who keep it real with you, to have those conversations with you and just, hey, I'm not here to sugarcoat this. I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. That is so important, not only to get you to overcome your particular fears, but also to go back to what we talked about earlier, for you to identify your value. You needed to, God placed people in your life to help you to understand that, Tramaine, you got a gift here, and
Mm-hmm.
it cannot be executed properly until you get, one, past your fear, and
Mm-hmm.
secondly, to get those things in place that is going to make you connect with the
Mm-hmm.
audience, with the platforms that I'm going to put you on. There's a certain thing that's going to
Mm-hmm.
have to come along with you that kind of packages you up just right to
Mm-hmm.
be able to connect through your music, through your ministering, through whatever I set up for you. These things have to be in place, but it's a process. And part of that process that we have to go through is getting out of our own way.
Yes.
Quit being so scary. Quit,
Mm-hmm.
quit acting like, you're not able to accomplish great things, but more importantly, quit forgetting what I've done for you before. You
That's
know,
good.
what the last time you were in a situation that you thought you wasn't gonna be able to get through, what happened what happened when you relied upon me, when you trusted in me to step in and do what I do?
Mm-hmm.
Did it work out? Yes, Lord, it worked out. In fact, it worked out better than what you thought it was gonna work out, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it did. Okay, and then what about the time before that? And then there was that other time and that other situation. And when you start to take just a few moments to reflect and be like, every time I trusted him, even when it seemed like it was impossible or unrealistic, or I was worried, I was stressed about it, it all worked out because I trusted in him. He always delivered. He's undefeated. He always
Mm-hmm.
delivered. Now, I can name countless times when I tried to sidestep and do it my way, when I wasn't, to what you said, the message you've been driving the whole time, when I wasn't obedient, when I was
Mm-hmm.
trying to, when I let my pride get in the way and all that. Yeah, I stumbled a few times. I had to bump my head a few times on those situations. I allowed myself to be in situations longer than I had to be, dealing with challenges, making them worse than what they needed to be, all because I was in my own way. And so this is what's so powerful about what you're saying here. This was a great story. I love the testimony. Brother overcomes dropping out of school, getting his GED, getting his degree, and he's doing this thing in life. But for our listeners, they need to understand that it's bigger than just a feel good story. This is about
Mm-hmm.
walking in obedience. This is about getting out of our own way. This is about not letting our pride, consume us. This is about understanding, you know what, you need a support system around you. And when you trust in God, even when you don't know where that support system is going to come from, He will surround you with people. He will place people in your lives that speak to you, and it might just be a few words, but
Mm-hmm.
just something that just gives you that nudge, that urge, that to get over that hump, to do what it is that you need to do to level up so that you can walk in the purpose that He intended for you to walk in. And one last thing I want to say before I turn that, that we oftentimes get caught up in, and I've struggled with it many times over the course of my life, but I'm getting better at it. As the older I get better at it. Is just that what you go through, the experiences that you have, oftentimes, whether you realize it or not, it was never about you anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You had to go through that, not for you. You have to go through that because it's to prepare you for that person that you haven't even met yet. That person
Mm-hmm.
10, 15 years down the road, random person that you're gonna run into into it at the grocery store. Something that God is already positioning you for, even to this moment on the podcast. I talked with you about that in the very beginning. Somebody's going to tune into this that needs to hear what you're talking about now. But you wouldn't be ready
mhm,
for moments like this and the many others that you've had in the past and those that are to come if you hadn't gone through what you've gone through. It ain't always about you, people. That's what we got to understand. It's not always about us. But it is about us operating in obedience. It is about us keeping our minds and hearts open to what God has for us, and hearing Him. And not, we don't even have to understand
mhm.
the whole, details of the plan. We just need to follow the lead. Just do just do as he's saying. Walk in that and just let him take care of the rest. Quit trying to, again, get out of our own way. Stop blocking our own blessings, because that, a lot of times, that's what we do, allowing that fear to creep in, allowing that pride to creep in, doubting ourselves. God wouldn't put
Yeah,
it in front of us if he didn't already have it worked out, if he didn't already
yeah,
have it, lined up for you. So quit clouding the situation. Quit making it more than what it is, and just walk in it. Just receive it, and and again, just and let the blessings flow from there, not only to you, but through you, to
amen.
who it is that He's aligning you with. So yeah, man, this is that's powerful testimony that you shared, and again, I appreciate that, and I know that that's got to be of encouragement to other listeners, particularly, I would say, particularly, I hope we have some, some brothers that are catching this, or ladies, share this message with that brother in your life that needs to hear that it's not, his story is not over. He may have had that bump in the road, he may have had that stall moment, but it's not over. If you can go back to school in your 30s and do what you do, get your education, and get educated in what you're doing. I love, again, he put that person in your life to say, brother, this is what you need to study. and,
Mhm,
and he gave you the courage to ask, to say, I
mhm,
don't know, because
mhm,
sometimes that is part of our problem too, the
mhm,
fear of not knowing what we not knowing what to do, or not knowing what we know. And it's like, and it sounds so silly when you talk it out. It's like, well, if I ask, about how to do this, that, or the other, then they're gonna think I don't know what I'm doing. Well, you don't know what you're doing, which is why you ask the question, and you seek the answer from the one who does know. So,
mhm.
yeah,
Well,
man.
let me add this to this is um the thing that I realized. You said something in here. It just slipped my mind. It just went like woof. I hate when I do that. It just
No, it's
went.
cool.
It was right there, but it was more on the fact of, oh, it was more. I was gonna say, like, you know even with me, like, doing all those things and conquering those fears and stuff. You know, you can do all you can still do all that, right? And the
Hmm.
one of the blessings that I was able to have is to see my children. I
Mm,
mean, my children was able to see me walk across the stage and get the diploma.
that's cool.
And when not my diploma, I'm sorry, my degree.
Degree. Yeah, there you
They
go.
got my degree. Both of my boys, they was able to see that. My mom was there. You don't understand. To see, have her to see me go walk across the
Mm,
stage and get my degree. It's the next generation, the people around you need to see that, right? So, but even with that though, so now, yeah, Tramaine, you want to open up, and I got my degree, and then now I'm doing all the stuff with music and all the stuff. You brought up some, I won awards now, but what if now the issue is God gotta, and this is the thing. I want to put this out there. He's God, yes, but he's your father first.
mm-hmm.
He's your father first. And it's crazy because I had to, for me to not have my biological father around in my life, God showed me that I'm more of a father than he
Mm,
is. I created him.
right.
I know what you need before you need it. Right? So once I understood that, I understand that he's raising me. He's raising you. He's raising the listener, right? And he loves us so much that sometimes we don't even realize that he's orchestrating things. Like that's my child. They just don't they be in la la land sometimes, but they don't know that I just shielded them from some stuff. They probably mad that they just didn't open the door, didn't open up. I'm gonna tell you something, man. With this music stuff, you know how many opportunities I posted one on tour, so deaf. I done did all this stuff and stuff never fell through until now. Until now. It is so
Mm-hmm.
crazy. Till right now, 2025 was the biggest year for music for me. To have a number one song, to win, go to two different award shows. I won two awards. I won every award I got that I submitted for. Like, you know what I'm saying? To see that after all that, at the end of last year, the Lord started dealing with me
Mm-hmm.
and said, "What profit a man to gain the world and lose his
Hmm.
own soul?"
There you go.
Now, it's nothing wrong with the accolades. There's nothing wrong with having all the degrees. It's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with having money. It's nothing wrong with all the different connections you may have. It's nothing wrong with having that. But do that stuff have you?
There you go. Mm-hmm.
The thing is, what profit a man to gain his world but lose his soul? You can have all the world, but you can't take it with you once you're gone. The only thing you can take with you is your soul, is your mind, is your heart. That's the only thing that slips from time into eternity is that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had to start back and start listening and had to really start evaluating this thing because you start really getting into this music stuff. You talking about you charting. Okay, I'm trying to go number one. Okay, I hope I win this award. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay, because those accolades help you to open up doors for you to get in other spaces,
Mm-hmm.
right? But just keep the thing. Let that be
Right.
that. But don't let it cross over to where you think you just above everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Your heart is wrong. You treat people wrong. You care more about the accolades than you care about people. Cause God care about people. My father care about people. Jesus healed somebody on the Sabbath, and the religious people was all mad at him. Like, no, I only do and say what I seen my father do. I ain't trying to preach, but you know what I'm saying? All this I do what I seen my father do. So if I'm
Yep.
gonna do what my father do, Jesus on that's all he did. So no, the right thing to do is heal this man. But if you don't have that type of heart, if you trying to go into God's house and you trying to sell and turn it, you know what I mean? No, you need to have the same mindset that Jesus. Hey, I'm turning over these tables. What y'all in here doing? This is my daddy house. This is my daddy house. Like what y'all doing? You know?
Right.
So my point is I want to throw that out there, man, because you know, you can all these things we go for, it's always another side to the other coin. And as God being your father, he's trying to raise you to be the best version of yourself. You know,
There it
so
is.
he want to break he want to break the whole thing dealing with the fear for me, and he want to break the whole thing dealing with all these other aspects of my life. I don't know what just happened. I hope you're still here.
Yeah, I'm still here.
I
We
don't know if
good.
it went away.
No, we're good. Keep. Yep.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know what just happened. So like it's still recording.
Yes, Tramaine Long.
Yeah,
We
I
all
was like,
right?
okay, what
No,
happened?
we just had no. We just had a little momentary little glitch. We're good though. I was hearing you throughout. So
Oh, okay, all right, cool,
yep.
cool. I was just like, okay, but I know you can edit all that stuff, so it was just cool. But anyways, at the end of the day, that's I just want to throw that out there. We can move on because
No.
we gotta get on the road in a second.
Yeah. No.
So,
We're good, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So Tremaine, obviously, we talked about some heavy things that we deal
mm,
with, challenges and storms and the like. But what I am curious to know is when you do find yourself going through challenging moments, again, whether it's the major stuff or it's just life, and what is it in particular that you like to do that kind of is your routine, your process that works best for you as you're trying to keep a level head, but at the same time deal with whatever it is that challenge is of the moment for the day? What does that look like for you?
first off, is that relationship with the Father,
Hmm.
spending time in the Word, the the Lord told Joshua to meditate on the word, on the law that Moses gave day and night, and you will prosper. And even in that same thing, he told Joshua to go possess the land, and he had to tell him over and over again to don't be afraid, for I'm with you. Don't be dismayed. Don't be broken in your thinking. Basically, what it mean? Like he told him that over and over again because for him to tell him that over and over again, Joshua had a doubt issue, a fear issue, being afraid of like why you calling me to do it. The Bible don't really talks about it like that, but you can see it in that chapter. So I what I do is, man, I think about that. I meditate. I find the word, the whatever I'm dealing with, and I meditate on it. I break it down. The Bible said rightly divide the word of God. So I like break that thing down to the smallest fraction.
Hmm.
And okay, what each word mean. This just me now,
Yeah.
everybody different, but I like to get the meat and potatoes. I want to get all the nutrients out of it, out of
Mm-hmm.
his word, so I could be able to apply it to my life, you know. And one scripture that sticks out to me that helps me out a lot is all things work for the good for those who love him and called according to his purpose. So even the good, the bad, it doesn't matter. It's working for my good. He's using it to help raise me. He's using that situation to help develop me. Okay, that's my mindset. And then the other scripture, and this is my last one. Um, it's more, but this is the last one I'm gonna give. is I rejoice during suffering
Mm-hmm.
because of what suffering produces. Suffering produces endurance, uh, character, and hope.
Yeah.
So when I suffer, it's producing, so it helped me to be more patient, to be like I can persevere.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's helping me to, if I get through this one, I can get through anything. And it's helping to develop my character. So now I suffer. Now I have a more of an appreciation for things. Now I'm starting to, especially when you're a child of God, now I start to see things how the Father sees it. So when
Mm-hmm.
somebody do me wrong or they hurt me or treat me a certain way, and I have people in the industry that y'all may know, I ain't gonna say their name, but they owe me money. They owe me money. I produce for them, they owe me money, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I love you more than I love the money,
There we go.
right? I need to see you. I know even though you doing me wrong, I need to make sure that I see you the way that my father see you.
Mm.
And he wishes to see no one perish. So that's the type of heart when I'm dealing with things, that's how I'm filtering out my feelings
Mm-hmm.
with his word. I had to talk to my wife like that all the time, like, baby, but I understand this how you feel, but what the word say? Let's go back to that. Let's go back to what he said.
Mm-hmm.
I understand how we feel. Your
Right.
feelings get you in trouble. Okay, I know such and such said this. I know such and such did this. I know this is happening right now. This is coming out of nowhere. But if he took care of us then, he'll take care of us now. And so I go back to that. I go back to those stories. I go back to when Jesus fed the 4,000, fed the 5,000, and he had a, didn't I just feed them? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You go back to that. That's where you pull from. That's where you go from. Then you go back and you start looking at those times. Hey, I remember when we stayed in the shelter. Look at me now. I got a chain on my neck.
We
you
doing
know,
things.
you see what I'm saying?
Right,
Like,
right.
but I look at the like where I came from. When I'm telling you, we was in a room. We was in a room the size of this room. Me and my mom and my sisters, and it had a bunk bed, and it had two twin matches, two twin beds. My mom was on one, my older sister on one. Me and my sister was on top, on the top bunk, bottom bunk, in this little room. And now I'm sitting here looking at my whole studio that I record in. It's the size of that one room. God can do it.
There you
My
go.
father knows what we need before we need it. And guess what? If I didn't get over the fear of going to school, I probably wouldn't have been in this place to marry my wife and everything that I have right now from not being obedient. So that's what I do.
Love that.
Mouthful, but that's what I do.
Oh, I love that. Love that, man. So, if you had an opportunity to sit across the table from younger Tramaine Long, could impart some words of wisdom into him, some things that you wish he knew then that you know now. What would those words of encouragement, those words of advisement be to him, as well as to anybody that might be tuning in that's going through or has gone through some of the struggles and some of the challenges you spoke of this evening? What would you say to younger Tremaine? What would be those words of wisdom to those that are listening that have gone through some of the similar things that you've gone through?
What I would say, this is on brand with the Be Legendary on my shirt.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say be legendary. And and I know that sounds like what be legendary. Why that sound a little arrogant? Nah, it's not arrogant. And the reason why is because I had this dream that God gave me. This is where all this came from.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was in this praise and worship, in the dream, leading worship, this lady prayed over me and just said, she kept saying, "Be legendary, be legendary." So I woke up. I woke up crying, and then I asked God, what you mean by this? By be legendary? And He said, "I want you to be legendary." He said, when you look at Joseph, Joshua, Abraham, you look at all these different people in the Bible, they've been gone for centuries, but their names still ring loud in
Mm-hmm.
this earth. But why? They the Bible says if you humble yourself under his mighty hand, he will exalt you. Right? And so by they humbled themselves and he exalted them by their obedience, their faith in believing in who he is to them, he made them great.
Mm-hmm.
He made them legend. They legends. So I would tell myself, be legendary by being a child of God. Put his will first. You want to be great, do it his way. And everything else that we said prior to this,
Mm-hmm.
even when we were just talking about how to get out of deal with situations and the suffering and rejoicing in that, that's all a part of being legendary. Practicing
Legendary.
righteousness is how you become legendary. Loving your neighbor as yourself, loving God with all your heart, all your mind, all your soul. That's how you be legendary.
Well
So that's what
said.
I tell.
Love that, man. Love that. Well said. Well said. Well, Tremaine, man, this has been a phenomenal conversation, man. I have thoroughly enjoyed hanging out with you this evening.
Me too.
You've dropped some nuggets on us that we needed that we can immediately apply
Hmm.
to our lives. If we don't walk away with nothing else, we're gonna walk away with be legendary.
Hmm.
But this has been beautiful, man. And as I stated at the top of the show, you have definitely lived up to being a blessing to me, being a blessing to my listeners, and for that I am greatly appreciative. And know that at any time you're welcome to come back on the podcast should you choose to, fit us in your busy schedule and be able to do that, man. I would love to have you back.
No
It's been
problem.
it's been a great time with you. But before I let you go, as is customary here on the Blessings in the Streets podcast, we do want to take an opportunity, man, to love on you, to show you some, give you some appreciation in that warm family feel that we talked about throughout the
Mhm.
course of the show. And so, with that said, man, tell us what you got going on now, coming up down the road, because we want to make sure we stay connected with you, follow you, support you, and if nothing more, man, just keeping you lifted in prayer. So tell the people what we need to be looking out for with Tremaine now, what's coming up, man.
So listen, hey, I'm happy about this part of the show. I'm happy about the whole show, but this part of the show because I got some good things happening. So,
All right.
I don't know when the show is gonna air, but when it air, it's gonna be out. So actually tomorrow, my
Mm,
wife told me to just say May 8th, but I'm kind of being obedient, being disobedient, I guess. But but May 8th, Legendary 2 comes out tomorrow at 12 o'clock tonight. But when y'all get this, it will be out. When y'all see this, it's gonna be out. but it's out. Legendary 2, Tramaine Long. When I tell you this project, it is number 2 of Legendary, the first Legendary I put out last 2025 for Valentine's Day. So yes, and I put this one out on the same day. Well, no, I did. I take that back. No, I put out Father, my single Father, on that day. But this right here is coming out May 8th. So I'm super excited about this, man. I really feel like this album's going to help you to become more legendary. Is believe it or not, a lot of these songs on this project are when I had to teach and teach on Sundays and things like that. I said, man, these are songs. So I just took my teachings and I put them in song form. So that you can learn from it. It got a rhythm beat to it, that hip hop, R&B, that pop, whatever you like, you know what I mean, that soulfulness is all in there, but God's word is in there. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and it's done in the way that Tramaine, my uniqueness, the way that Tramaine will do it. So that's that. The other two things I got going on right now is Stellar Awards, y'all. So if you're listening and you are a Stellar member like I am, I need your vote. Okay, I need your vote. So I am up for 3 awards. Right now, I don't know when it's gonna come out, but hopefully I make it to the second round. But I got considered for New Artist of the Year and Contemporary Male Artist of the Year. And hopefully, when I doing the second round, I find out if I got in that category for best video of the year. So if you can do that, go vote. And if you're a part of the Praise Factor Awards, I got 3 awards in there too. So I got the Urban and Traditional Artist of the Year category, and Hip Hop Male Solo Artist of the Year, and New Album Legendary. No, I'm sorry, and that was it. That was it for that. So, but if you are a member of that, you can go vote for me over there too as well. So when I tell you, man, like last year, I don't even know how all this even happened. God told me in 2024 to stop putting my music out. And when I tell you when it's your time, it's your time. He will open up the door. So that's all I really pretty much have. Y'all can find me at tramainelong.com. TRAMAINELONG.com. My music is on there. And guess what? If you have an event, concert, festival, whatever it is, go and y'all can book me on my website. And y'all can follow me on Instagram at underscore Tramaine Long, underscore TRAMAINELONG. That's a blessing, y'all. It's not just Tramaine no more. It's Tramaine Long. So look, man, that's all I have. That's what I got. Thank you, man, for having
Man,
me on your show, man.
that's beautiful. That is beautiful. Listeners, here you have it. This brother is doing his thing, walking in his purpose. Please support. Please keep him in your prayers. You got the site. You know where to vote for him. We're gonna be cheering this brother along, and I'm not only excited about what you got going on now, but I'm looking forward to big and better things coming down the road, man. I think you're just scratching the surface on what God has for you, man, and it's definitely a blessing to encounter a brother like you, man. And I wish nothing but the best for you and your family and all that you touch and all that you do in the lives that you're going to be changing, man. I'm just claiming that victory right now. So
Thank you.
next time I hear from you, man, we won't be talking about the Grammys that you're getting ready to be up for.
Oh wow. Okay.
So we gonna
Okay.
do we gonna claim it all right now. So
Yes, sir.
man, keep doing your thing. And to my listeners, if you've enjoyed our broadcast this evening, if you've been blessed by our discussion tonight, please subscribe, please share, please comment, please like, because this is what the Blessings in the Streets podcast is about. We take the opportunity to peel back the layers, to keep it raw, to keep it real, and just let you know that we all go through challenges and storms in life. But at the end of the day, nothing is too big for God to handle. And if that's not a relationship that you currently have, today is a mighty fine day to make that decision. And I promise you it'll be the best decision that you will ever make in your life. Not telling you something that I heard, telling you something that I know, and I know my brother Tramaine Long has heard and knows from firsthand personal experience. He will love you. He will embrace you. He wants nothing but the best for you. He wants that relationship with you. Grab hold of it now. There's plenty of it to go around. You don't have to worry about dealing with the storms and challenges of life by yourself because you got a big God, a Father who loves you unconditionally and can handle it all. So, with that said, remember here at the Blessings in the Streets podcast that this is the place where your story is your glory, where your relationships are relevant, and your journey is your joy. I am your host, Joseph B. Roberts, and I thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, you keep fighting that good fight, keep hanging in there, leaning on God, trusting Him, walking in obedience. Allow Him to love on you as only He can. And I promise you, you will not go wrong. You will not go astray, and He will never leave you nor forsake you. So until next time, you take care of yourselves and have a great rest of your evening. All right, my brother. That was good, man.
That was a good one.
Enjoyed that. Enjoyed that. All right. All right.